What is one thing that instantly makes you think this person has no manners? Standing in the middle of the aisle at a grocery store, not returning the cart. Edit. Formatting. Coughing or sneezing without covering your mouth. When you offer your time and money to drive someone, and they don't thank you for the ride. People who let their kids run around in a movie theater, kick the back of your seat repeatedly, and hang on you. Idiots with children is why I now only go to the cinema at the 12 or 1 AM sessions anymore. Last time I went in the evening I had a full family sitting behind me. 3 kids making noise, playing on their phone, jumping on the seats, kicking my seat, fighting each other, crawling, etc. I asked the parents if they could keep their children under control and quiet, since it is a movie and I couldn't even understand the dialogue, and they had the balls to say I was being rude and uneducated. Those Philistines. And it's always the same type of people that do this shit. Edit. And to drive the point further, it wasn't even a movie for kids. I'd understand if Finding Nemo was full of kids and wasn't a quiet room. But a movie for grown-ups? So I have a roommate who I'm entirely convinced has absolutely no manners whatsoever. For context, I live in the barracks, so I have no choice but to live with this guy. I have 1.5 million stories about this guy, but I guess I'll start with the basics. Doesn't clean up after himself, and refuses to help clean, even if has a guest in someone else's home. Chain smokes / vapes in people's cars. Flicks ash out the window but everyone knows that literally will just kick it back into the Jeep. Tries to constantly teach people things, and will talk your ear off and basically just dominate the conversation. No listening or allowing for a different perspective. Methodica literally introduced himself to me as the smartest man in any room. He plays music and sings in the shower at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and will take 45+ minute showers, 20 minutes to sit on the toilet and 25 to have his concert. The last straw for me was when I came home on leave and saw his flashlight sitting out in the common area table. We've stopped inviting him to places. He sits in his room alone playing Xbox all day because I'm not responsible for teaching a 21-year-old child basic manners. It's not happening. Inviting everyone in the friend group to an event and excluding just one friend, then proceeding to talk about how much fun they're going to have at said event in front of the person that was purposely excluded. In front of everybody. Happened today and thought it was pretty rude. Littering. When I was a kid in the 80s, I was driving with a neighbor and I chucked a piece of trash out the window. She immediately pulled over and made me get out and pick it up. Lesson learned. People who don't use turn signals. Shit drives me crazy. I can't even fully understand why this makes me so angry. I'm a generally calm person. I'm not hot-headed at all. But when someone doesn't use a turn signal my blood boils so fast it's insane. I think in my mind I assume if you can't operate the most basic function of your vehicle mandated by the law, then you have no business driving at all. Parents who let their children run rampant anywhere. I've seen parents watch as their kid pops their fingers through every package of meat at the grocery store and do nothing. Parents who let their kids kick a stranger's shoe or other belongings, letting the kids spit on windows and rub it with their hands. Letting them run around the store, playing with anything and everything, and leaving a mess for others to clean. And the parents literally just ignore it. I never understood that. They really are your obligation. Not the store associate who's unlucky enough to be working the shift you happen to stroll in during. Be a parent. Bad kids can turn into shitty people. People who leave their litter and uneaten food all over fast food restaurant tables and the floor area. Edit. Having read every response to my post, I now clearly understand that social norms differ greatly. Thank you for the insight. Blasting music on the bus. Absolute twats. Yeah, absolutely. I hate those kind of people. No one wants to listen to your shitty music, especially on a bus on the way to work or something. When they walk into an elevator before you have a chance to get off. Same W buses and subways. Some girl did this in a building I was in once, and I said, you know it's polite to wait for people to get off before you barge on, and she just screams, I know. I was at work and getting off the elevator. This woman tried to walk through me. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Teddy," but continued to try and push through. I said, "If you're sorry, then why are you still trying to push through me?" Her expression sunk like this was the first time anyone had ever called her on her bullshit. The guy with her laughed and said, "Maybe you should let him out first," and guided her out of the way. Apartment neighbors who slam their doors as hard as they can. Damn. My last apartment had heavy doors that would forcefully close shut on their own. I'd walk in, forget that the damn door is about slam shut with the power of thunder, and sprint back trying to catch it and slow it down. I usually made it, but I know I woke some people up with that thunderstorm of a door when I didn't catch it. When you're having a nice chat with someone and they start saying things that don't seem to make sense to you, then you realize they just answered a call on their @ $% Bluetooth phone ear thingy and are not even talking to you anymore. Hung out with a coworker once and he threw all his garbage out the window of his car onto the street. Never hung out with him again. I saw someone throwing trash out the car in front of me. Who does this? Why would anyone think that's okay? I honked and flipped off the driver in front of me after he threw trash out his window, then he threw a McDonald's Coke at my car. People that don't put their weights away at the gym. God, this pisses me off so much. Not everyone has the same lifting routine as you, Chad. I threw my back out pretty badly and the free weight machines were the only ones that didn't hurt me for some reason. Trying to lift a 20kg weight from heights above your waist with cooked spaghetti for a back is painful. I had to ask someone to help me move weights so I could use the machine once. So embarrassing. People who act mean towards others for apparently no reason. I got this friend who always talks down to younger people and I'm like, you need to gain people's respect. Don't take it for granted. That just makes me think they're a bad person, not one without manners. I know people who are well mannered and sociable who say or do incredibly mean-natured things. I really despise passive aggressive cruelty. I believe it's something people get away with far too easily. On one hand, I agree that you should have to earn an elevated level of respect, but everyone also gets a base level of respect to start with. I don't speak at or down to someone just because they're younger or not as informed as I am. That's just rude and inconsiderate. I speak to people the way I would like to be spoken to. If they choose not to extend the same courtesy back, only then will my tone change. When they turn everything into a one-up contest. Yelling at retail workers, most recently about wearing masks or putting hand sanitizer on. It takes little to no effort and people lose their minds over it. Some people just hate being told what to do or doing the same thing as everyone else. There's people who refuse to drink water because too many health nuts and doctors told them it's good for you. People who cut their nails on public transportation. Do your grooming at home. Leaving their rubbish at a fast food restaurant. Most offenders are parents who think it's their day off, or teenagers that have learned this behavior from said parents. People who let their kids watch annoying ass YouTube videos in public places without headphones. Pure trash. Also, kids playing trash mobile games with the same annoying tune. When grocery shoppers leave their carts in the middle of the aisle instead of pulling over. I work at a grocery store, and because of COVID we have arrows to point the direction you're supposed to go with your cart. Today an old couple crashed into someone else because they were going the wrong way. Today, my U-boat, a large cart for stocking shelves, was in the middle of the aisle, but parallel so people could easily go by, about 1 to 1. 5 meters each side of my cart. The man in the couple started cussing at me after I politely asked them to follow the arrows once they leave the aisle. He went to grab something from the shelf that was not even close to my U-boat. The man angrily said, "Your cart's in the effing way." Effing stupid idiot. I said, "Please, don't speak that way to me, sir," and he walked away mumbling stuff under his breath. Called my manager and had him stand up for me. The man talked with my manager and walked away seconds after because he was obviously in the wrong. Like I'm just doing my frickin' job. No need to be so vile and rude. Not saying thank you to stuff like someone holding a door open for them, or a waiter/waitress refilling their drink. Not saying thank you when someone buys you dinner or sends you a gift or anything. Showing gratitude is good for everyone involved. When I'm out with a friend and we meet someone they know but I don't, and that person makes no effort to introduce themselves to me or include me in the conversation, like, I know I'm the designated less hot friend, but you don't have to remind me of it. My ex didn't introduce me when we by chance ran into her ex. Took it as an immediate red flag and ended the relationship immediately. Just kidding. Ignored the obvious red flag amongst many others. Married her. Wasted 7 years. Got divorced. Now remarried to the love of my life. When you're right behind them and they let a door slam in your face instead of holding it for you. Arguing with a worker about expired coupons. People who click their fingers at waiting or bar staff. Cutting in line. This old lady tried to skip me in line. Seemed easy for her as I was social distancing. And I gave her the look. She then silently proceeds to walk over to the cashier to ask if she can cut in line. The laughs from all of us waiting in line proceeded as she was denied via a confused no you may not. Plus a WTF look from the cashier context. This was yesterday in countryside Japan. Interrupting mid-sentence. I know I'm guilty at times. It makes me feel like trash. Being an asshole to the waiter or waitress. My stepmom is the worst at this, and usually tips like $2 regardless of cost, even with 4 people at a nice restaurant. I try to throw a 5 or 10 on the table after she leaves. It's so embarrassing in all aspects. Feeling entitled to other people's things. I worked with this girl that would take home the unopened food/snacks that other people brought to the work potluck. It was so weird cause she wouldn't even ask and her reasoning was that it was meant for everyone at the potluck, so she would call dibs on it. People who don't say anything when they walk up to my desk and I say how can I help you? It's rude and takes literally 5 seconds to speak to me instead of shoving a paper in my face. Talking over people. If someone is talking stfu and listen. When they're finished you can tell your shitty story. Not halfway through someone else's. Edit. While my inbox is being destroyed for more bit. I've learned that people with ADHD can't help it, and we should be a little more understanding when they butt into conversations. I've also learned some people are cock and balls and never shut up. Interrupting these people is okay, unless they also have ADHD, in which case refer to the previous point. Speaking over others. The worst. I was still talking. When dog owners don't pick up after their dogs. Snapping fingers at someone. My roommate. 1. Doesn't clean up after himself in the kitchen. 2. His car hasn't been washed in a decade. 3. Plays music/video games so loud like no one else is home. 4. Doesn't know how to have an adult conversation at 33. 5. Took over pantry and refrigerator leaving no space for anyone else. 6. Slept in the guest room since his bed wasn't a bed and said his GF was a guest therefore okay. 7. Leaves lights on. 8. Cannot bring trash cans in when the first home. 9. Is the asshole that fails the shopping cart test, and that's just one person lol. When the waiter refills all the drinks and nobody says thank you. Or if they can't reach your cup and you don't help them out. Not saying please or thank you. It's currently 10 PM and my parents have decided that watching a movie at maximum volume with their soundbar seemingly set to maximum bass is an okay thing to do. In an apartment that has 2 families on either side, one of which has a 1-year-old, so I'd say that. Slow walkers taking up the entire sidewalk. When they speak extremely loudly in public. I dated a guy in college who would do this. Although he did it while sober. One time a lady who was sitting next to us at a restaurant asked him to stop speaking so loudly, which was mortifying. It would get progressively louder and louder the more he drank. He was also big on being an asshole to waiters slash waitresses, and was a lousy tipper. No matter how big the bill was, he would never tip above $2. Other men we date when we're young and stupid. When someone is right in front of you slash makes eye contact with you while opening a door and lets it close right in front of you as opposed to keeping it open for the 2 extra seconds. People who chew with their mouth open. It's disgusting and drives me ducking crazy. My father open mouth chews. As a child it bothered me so much that I'd plug my ears at the table and refuse to eat. My parents' solution was to exaggerate it and eat even more noisily, and I'd have to go hungry if I chose to plug to my ears rather than eat, so I'd go without dinner quite often. If anything, it only made me hate the sound more. When they don't tuck in their chair after getting up. So rude. I'll push in other people's chairs, it bugs me so much. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.